In my last devlog, I showed off some of the simple systems, but now it's time to get into the bigger systems. This video has been 60 days in the making, so let's get into it. But before I do that, I'm going to start by quickly showcasing some of the smaller changes. I thought the default UI was way too default, so I made it way better. I don't have any more footage of the rest of the changes, nor do I want to film any, so instead, here's the list of changes. The first big thing I added was the crafting system, and I started by hopping into Blender to make the crafting bench. After that, I began working on the UI. I did a simple design using a scrolling frame with a UI grid layout, and for the items you can craft, I added a frame with the text button inside, which, when it's clicked, it will open a menu with the crafting requirements. Once I finished the UI, I started to work on the code, and the way I made the system was I put all the recipes for the craftable items into a module script and sorted them by their categories. I'm not sure if that was the best way to do it, but it's the only way I thought of, so that's what it's gonna have to be. That's pretty much all for the crafting system. I did add a little bit more stuff to it later on, but it wasn't nothing too crazy. Moving on, we now have the furnace. If you don't know what a furnace does, do not worry, because I'm here to explain. In the most simple terms possible, the furnace will smelt ores for you. Yep, that's all. But it's pretty cool, because you can put ores in it, and then it smelts it. That's pretty cool. Anyways, moving on to the coding aspect. I used a single server script, which uses collection service to find the furnaces, and then it loops forever, waiting for somebody to put ore or fuel in it. That was a very simple way to describe this, but you know, here's the final product. Yep, so I put the coal in there, yep. So I put a gold ore in, yeah, I put 3 in. And then if you just wait a little bit. Yeah, and then it puts out the smelted ore. That's all for the furnace system. And the next system we will be going to is the hammer tool. And I still haven't modeled it yet, so it's kind of just 2 parts. Anyways, the hammer tool will be a very necessary item you must have at all times. It will be used for 3 things: deleting objects and platforms, upgrading objects and platforms, and repairing objects and platforms. And the cool thing about deleting platforms is, if it's a rope platform, the closest rope platform to it regains its ropes. That way your platform can never fall. That's pretty much it for the hammer tool, but moving on, I have a very, very cool new feature to showcase. What is this system, you may ask? Well, it's the base core. I first modeled 4 different cores. Each of them were for a different level. To explain what the base core is, it's what's keeping your platform stable. So you must protect it at all costs and never let it get destroyed. But if you fail to keep it safe, then your platform will become unstable and fall apart, and you lose. The code itself was pretty simple to make. It didn't take too long. It's definitely one of the more important systems. Now moving on to literally one of the most important systems, the item spawner. And when I say item spawner, item can literally be anything, like an NPC or a resource or literally anything that comes to your mind. To simply explain what it is, it's like Minecraft 1 block. If you've never played Minecraft 1 block, let me explain how it works. You start on a single block, then you break that block, which will then spawn a different block. So the system I decided to make was similar to that, except it spawns trees and rocks, and anything really, on a pretty big platform, and not on a single block. As you can see in the clip, I'm destroying the objects at spawn, and then it generates a new one. So this clip is pretty old, so it had a lot of updates. It doesn't look the same. Moving on to the system that took the longest to make, the building system. This is something I really wanted to add because it will be one of the most important systems, and it's one of my favorites. Now onto the process of making a building system, I started with making a building menu, which will have all the structures you can place. But before you can see the structures, you have to click one of the categories that I added into the menu. When you click on a structure, it will allow you to put it anywhere you want, as long as you have enough resources, that is. The reason it took so long to make was because of how many different methods I tried to use. None of them seemed to work for what I was trying to do. But, after a little bit of trial and error, I I got it to work. This next system still has a lot of stuff needed in order for it to be finished, but I'll still showcase it anyways. What system am I talking about? Well, it's farming, of course. Farming is another really important system for helping the player stay alive. At first, I made it so you had to have a plant box to plant seeds and get yummy food, but instead I did a different and harder way, needing 2 whole different separate systems. But I think it was worth it. How this system works is with a shovel, you can get grass blocks from islands that spawn near your platform, and then using a hoe, you can plow the block to turn it into farmland. Then you can plant seeds on it. In the future, I'll make it so the growth speed is affected by water. Yeah, but that's pretty much it for the farming system. The final thing I want to talk about is the island generation system. To start, I made a basic island with nothing on it, because how the system works is it spawns random objects on top. For example, it can spawn up to 20 objects, which can be resources, structures, or plants, which actually uses a part of the farming system. At the start of the game, a single island spawns, and then every day after that, a new island spawns. But you may be thinking, after 100 days, there would be 100 islands. That would be bad. Well, that's why I added a feature to where islands can become unstable after a certain amount of time and then explode. Okay, I know I said that was the last one, but I want more time on this video. So here's how I went about the void. Like, what happens when the player falls into it? Okay, so I'm just gonna accidentally fall off here. Just ignore the death screen. Anyways, that is the end of this video. But wait, I might start live streaming this process of making this game. So if you want to be notified if I do, join my Discord server, link down below. I also host Roblox giveaways and other cool community events. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.